We are recording now. Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody, and happy holidays. This is Howard Fox, host of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. I hope you're all having a great holiday season. And, before we uh, jump into the new year and everything that it has to offer, the opportunities, challenges, I wanted us to get together with some good friends of mine. You've heard them before. I'm sure you've seen them before. Fellow podcasters, entrepreneurs, members of the Outdoor Writers Association of America. But I wanted to just, I thought, hey, Emanuel Rose, Rick says, why don't you come on to the podcast and let's chat a little bit about, what happened this year in podcasting for you and what perhaps what were some of the successes, some of the opportunities, maybe some surprises you didn't anticipate. But as usual, guys, it's good to see you, Emmanuel, Rick, and good to see you guys. And I know tomorrow is Christmas Day. We're going to post this episode up on at least on my show next Tuesday as we head into the new year. But Emmanuel, Rick, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning, Howard. Great to be here. Happy to have a conversation with
Yeah,
both
this
you
is gonna be
guys.
fun. Merry Christmas to
Yeah,
Happy New
what I
Year.
really love about this is this, from the bottom of my heart, this tells me how special and meaningful our relationships are that you're going to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning, Pacific time, folks, to have this conversation. And I would actually think this conversation's best in the end of the day with a nice adult beverage in our hands. But you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I
That's
have
right.
my
Yeah,
cup
that
of
was the one
coffee.
quibble I was going to give you, Howard. It's like, wait a minute, what's this O Dark 30 wake up call? And I can't put anything in my coffee. Come on.
If you wanted to put something in your coffee, I would
I
not
would
say
do it.
anything.
And I
I would
would
not
do
say. I don't think there's any podcast rules out there that we have to do.
it.
But
Right.
so tell me how was your year of podcasting? And definitely for our guest, you know, what is the name of your podcast? And tell us a little bit about what you did this year. Emmanuel, why don't you kick it off?
Oh yeah, sure. Thanks, Howard. Wow, what a year! I have three podcasts, one of which I gave birth to this year. So, marketing in the age of AI is the one I started with, and then Nature Bound is the second one, and then I kicked off behind the podcast mic this year also. So I think all in all, I recorded about 200 episodes.
Wow.
200.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Oh my God. Wow. I couldn't imagine that. I get burnt out by when I start hitting about 70, I'm starting to feel the burnout. But what's this behind the mic podcast?
Well, I've got this really great tool called Fluent Frame, which is it takes the MP4 and it creates the blog post and the YouTube description and the shorts and the mid length videos and then all the social posts and email marketing. So it does all that stuff, and so I talked to the CEO and one of the founders. I'm like, well, we should do a behind the podcast mic, and you guys should sponsor it. So so that's the genesis of that one, and it gives me a chance to talk to other podcasters and just see kind of like what we're doing, like what happened this year, what do you like, don't you like, how are you finding guests, and it is just kind of a chance to nerd out on podcasting.
I love it. I'm going to definitely have to learn more about Fluent Frame. Anything to add some additional offerings from this podcast. And what I love about podcasting, and you guys will all talk about it, is you create this content, but it's not one piece of content. You create multiple slices from that content and put that up on your socials and blogs, things like that. So I'd love to hear more about that and look forward to hearing more about that in 2026.
Yeah, and
Rick,
Howard, I love that show that Emmanuel does. It's really I've listened to it a couple of times and it seems like I always learn something, whether it's podcast related or whoever your guest is, Emmanuel. So it's a really good episode to listen to. Good one.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, there's always
excellent.
some tech thing that you can learn about
Yeah.
that the people
Yeah.
are doing that to condense the amount of time we have to spend on the
Yeah, the
pod.
tricks and tips, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Can't
You
get
know,
enough of those.
that brings up a question, and Rick, it's not lost that you haven't shared what your episode is and what you've been up
That's it.
to.
I'm
But
out. See you later.
okay, goodbye. Uh, you guys listen to other podcasts. I mean, I have been listening to Emmanuel's, the obviously the Nature Bound and the Age of AI. But do you all listen to other people's podcasts? You
I
listen to
don't
mine, I'm sure, but do each
I don't
other's.
listen to as many as I used to because I don't travel as much.
Hmm.
So I'm home, and when I'm home, I seem to have music on or something else while I'm doing my thing, or nothing because I'm recording, obviously.
Hmm.
But when I go on, like I'm about to leave here to head down south to Encinitas for a Christmas Day event, dinner and whatnot. So I'll probably have a couple podcasts to listen to there. But yeah, not as many as I used to. And it's kind of, I'm trying to figure out a way to work that into my routine because I miss it, and B, I learn a ton. If even
Hmm.
even if it's not a podcast about somebody who's sharing some tips and tricks and things on how to do podcasting or how to, build a house, whatever that might be, you just learn from podcasters by listening to them. You listen to the way they do their intros and the way they do their outros and questions, and so yeah.
Okay. Rick, what's the name of your podcast? Share that with our listeners.
The Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast.
I'll do it. Now, this was a rebrand this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was looking at that this morning. I'm not sure if it was this year or end of last year. It was the Outdoor Biz podcast. I was focused specifically on the outdoor industry. I've been in the industry forever. And I changed it because I also have been in the adventure travel industry for a long time. So I wanted to be able to incorporate that. So I just changed the name. It's basically the same interview style show, and I interview all the people I'm fortunate to come across in the outdoor adventure travel world, and talk about those spaces as businesses as well as trips and things to places you can go. So I've been fortunate
Okay.
to be
Now,
to
you
some.
you just shared that your experience comes from being in the outdoor clothing, equipment, anything that's outdoor related, that space, manufacturers. And so you or have a great pipeline of potential guests. But how are you getting your guests today? Is it still this just based on the relationships you have developed over the years?
Yeah, pretty much. It's either people that I know and I just reach out to, like I'm a little shy going into this year with recording, so I'm about to reach out to a bunch of people and said, "Hey, we have an opportunity here." But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of people that I know or have worked with, brands that I've known and worked with. And then sometimes I'll just put out a blanket, outreach to like the Outdoor Writers Association, who we all belong to,
Uh,
and say, "Hey, folks, I got some opportunity for people to come on the show. Here's the link. Sign up." So I
okay.
get them from all kinds of different places, and I'll
Okay.
pretty much talk to anybody that does anything in the outdoor adventure space. I mean, if
Okay.
you're a guide, you're a product manager, a designer, whatever.
Do you find that they're coming to you or are you going to them? Do you have a preference to get the guest?
I don't have a preference. It's interesting now that I've done. I was just looking at this today. 52 episodes this year,
You and I
17,000.
are behind, by the way, with Emmanuel. He's like crushing it here.
Well, you
And he
got three
takes off
podcasts. Come
a
on,
week,
hey,
a
hey.
month to go out in the middle of the backcountry, and he's still crushing it compared to us.
I got my count is 243 episodes
Oh,
this
dear.
year.
Wow, right on.
That
Good
doesn't
for you.
include my solo episodes either.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. Well, I
Wow.
think Howard, we're probably going to get into a little, you know, feedback on our shows. So I don't want to tip my
Okay.
hand, but I do have some data on how this year compared to other years. And I was off this year, and I didn't do some things that I normally do,
Hmm.
and that cut my downloads and my episodes down. And but to give myself some slack, I did move in the middle of the year, and that was turned out to be a little bit of a challenging move. So there's some things that always get in the way, but
Right.
yeah, I normally do more than I did this year.
Okay. Okay. Emmanuel, with your three podcasts now, the two that have been established over the past couple of years and this new one, how are you getting your guests? Is it just organic reach out or people hear about it? Is there a recipe that
Yeah,
you have?
I'm a marketing guy by nature, so I believe everything should be multi-channel.
Okay.
And so you and I met on Podmatch, so there's
Yeah.
those kinds of services, right? Matchmaker's another one that's like that, and there's a bunch of these. There's also some like Facebook groups that are called things like Need a Podcast Guest or Find a Podcast. So I'm part of some of those groups. I do get inbound from PR agencies and marketing departments from tech companies, SaaS companies, those sorts of things. And then I have built an AI agent that crawls the internet and searches for my ideal guest profile. Ideal guest profile. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. And
Hmm.
so these agents, AI agents, go out and they're doing search based on what I'm requesting, and then they're finding people and they're reaching out to them with the link to sign up for the meet and greet.
Okay.
So those are my primary process. I think 4 or 5 different processes to keep the guesting pipeline full, and or yes, getting guests. And then for me to be a guest, I just use Podmatch.
Okay. I'm curious with this AI agent, as it goes out and finds the guests that match your profile, is after that, is it organic? You reaching out, you have a team member, somebody works for you, reaches out, or is there another agent involved, which is kicking off like an email?
Yeah, so the agents go and they find the company, the person, they come back, put it in a spreadsheet. Then they use a tool that I like called Full Enrich, which gets the contact information updated or validated,
Hmm.
and which includes the LinkedIn profile. And then they send an email and a LinkedIn connection request, and so that's
Okay.
all automated and automated to the point where the recipient, if they're interested, just directly directly schedules the meet and greet. So it's never touched by anybody other than
Okay.
to set up the agent.
Okay. So at the point that you are interviewing that guest, that's in some ways that's until you have that meet and greet,
Yeah.
because which that's a great question for both of you. Uh, And I guess I can answer that myself is you like to have a brief conversation with your potential guest to ensure they're a match before you actually record the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned that
Absolutely.
the hard way. I'm sure Rick has too. Where
Yeah.
you, if you don't do the meet and greet and you do pre episode marketing, and then that person is not ethically sound, then you're just sitting there with dead air on that
Mm.
day, and you've spent money and time to create that pre promo. So that's why I do the meet and greet, just from having
Okay.
I
gotten
also
burned.
have a form that I fill out
Yeah,
that I ask them to fill out. I send it to them.
right.
It talks about their background and, gives me all the details. A lot of that is just details for promotion later, and social media handles and all that stuff. But every once in a while in the bio part, you learn something. It's like, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to ask about that. Or, eesh, do I want to talk to this guy? That
Uh,
hasn't happened very often, fortunately.
it's funny that this little piece of the conversation right now is something that it was kind of very, I don't know, I want to say karma, but it's the three of us were having this conversation last week, and I know we've had it multiple times about not having everybody that shows up and wants to be on our shows to actually have that interview. And I actually had a guest from a site that I get a lot of my guests from when I'm looking to kind of fill some weekly publishing of episodes. They pitched to me, "We love your Outdoor Venture Series podcast. We love the work you're doing, this connection, that connection." And I didn't do any due diligence
Ooh.
with that. And when it came time for the day before, and I'm getting my show notes ready, and they didn't even fill out the questionnaire, which I realize in one site that I get guests, they never fill out the questionnaire. Now they
Huh.
have a bio, but it could be better. But I realized as I was preparing this episode, this guy's not a potential or ideal guest for my podcast.
Yeesh.
And it's like, and I basically went back and said, hey, no, we're not doing this. And by the way, luckily I have a second podcast, which is more business oriented, Success Insight. And I ended up recording that episode in where it would have been a good fit to what we talked about. But my lesson learned this year is, well, especially when it's these third-party sites, whether it's Podmatch or podmatch.com, whatever they are, is you still have to do your due diligence before you actually say, yeah, I want you as a guest. That was
Definitely.
a big lesson learned the other day. And the fact that the three of us talked about it the week before, it's like, oh, geez. So I had to share that.
Yeah, I had one of those recently as well. Yeah.
So what's on the horizon for you this coming year, Rick? What are you going to kind of venture into in terms of your podcasting, some of the types of guests that you're going to be looking for?
I think I'm going to keep the content and the guest target pretty much the same. I think that's worked out pretty well. I think there's a lot of people left to talk about, to talk to and talk about, and
Mhm.
a lot of different styles of adventure, travel, and outdoor stuff that we haven't covered. And then I'm going to do, I think I'm do a lot more solo episodes,
Mhm.
like whether it's every Friday or every Thursday. I launched this thing a while back called Rick's Riffs, where I just get on the mic and just riff about something that I learned about or something that's, a hot topic in the outdoor biz, something like that. And then also launched a couple of other new things related to working with destination marketing people
Mhm.
and sharing some of those destinations myself, because I've been fortunate to travel all over the world and go, adventure in some fantastic places. And so if I can get a DMO or somebody to talk about that, great. But if I can't, I can talk about it myself. Like I recorded something last week about Bishop, little old Bishop, California. I spent a lot of time going up there with my grandfather, and it's a really special place to me. And I put it out to some friends, and they're like, dude, this is great. So that'll probably be the first, Friday or Thursday drop or whatever, and that'll be a regular thing. So just add some new, different types of content to the show,
Okay.
mix it up a little
Okay.
bit.
How about you, Emmanuel? I mean, you got three podcasts. Are you going to try
Yeah.
to exceed that 240
He
count,
needs some
maybe
new AI bots to help
250?
him if he's going to do anything too.
Yeah, it was a good year this year, and that I wanted to get a lot of episodes under my belt, and so I did that, and that was successful. And um, looking into next year, I want to figure out how to create niche podcasts to support specific products or projects, and so like I just built this tool called Reno Music Tonight, and it's a
Mhm.
live music crawler that pulls in all the events that are happening, uh, live music in Reno. And so I'm working on a concept to them to build a podcast to support that, where I can interview artists, interview venues, talk about shows that are coming up, talk about shows that I went to, and figure out how it all kind of ties together. For the marketing, just because what we know is that, like you mentioned earlier, Howard, the amount of content that we end up with is just unbelievable, and it's all on brand and on voice. And I think this is, in the age of AI, this is the critical activity for a small business owner or an entrepreneur, and mid-sized businesses to participate in, because it is the most authentic thing you can have, which is the person and people running the business in conversations with other humans.
Right.
So that's kind of my goal, is to uh, get the consistency of the other two podcasts, Nature Bound and Behind the Podcast. Might get those to be on a weekly cadence, and then build this other pod for the Reno music scene, and then figure out how to kind of productize that for businesses.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I think this year I'm going to continue. my initiative with the destination space. I think I was doing some counting before we started. So I had 75 episodes this year. Okay. And that was between the outdoor, and I did some on the business podcast. I probably will be doing more business on Success Insight coming up, maybe about 10, 12 episodes a year, but I'll still focus on the outdoor adventure series. I'm going to continue going back to many of the destinations that I interviewed. So we did like 36, yeah, 36 destination interviews this year. Some of those have resulted in some follow-up podcast opportunities. I'm going to continue that. And I'm actually going to tap into the international destinations, because whether it's at the country level or the province or even the city level, there are destination organizations out there.
Yep.
I'm going to tap into having them on the podcast, and definitely am going to, and I'll still use Podmatch for filling in some gaps where I need some guests. Another area that I picked up, and I kind of fell into it last year, and I wanted to continue with it because I thought it was very important. And actually, Emmanuel, you and I have chatted about this, is this connection between nature and mental, emotional, physical health. And hearing from people perhaps who have had some challenges in their life, physical, emotional, mental health challenges, and they're using nature to heal themselves. And I just thought that's a really fascinating conversation. And in fact, one of my first interviews next year is actually with the authors, plural, of a book on the connection between coaching, which is my profession when I'm not podcasting, and the connection between it and nature, and the effects of, how you coach your clients by going to walk in the woods, or, taking them on a weekend getaway and just, to heal,
Mm.
or at least start that healing process. So I want to continue that coming up. I need to do a better job of the follow-up. I think this has been a huge successful year, with the types and caliber of guests, the 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 work and the output of what I've been doing, and my download numbers have gone up. They're not as stellar as Rick's, I mean, or yours, Emmanuel, but they're good. But I think I definitely want to continue down this path of, finding good quality guests, and being able to say no to people like, this guy, sorry, this is not a match. And so I'm pretty happy about this year, but uh, I need to be more intentional about the follow-up after the podcast to create those products like you're doing, Emmanuel, and further productizing the podcast, but also getting other types of new business, maybe a podcast series, which is one of my areas that I try to focus on. So that's my plans. What are you most proud of this year? If you look back and you say, this was a great year. This is how many episodes. I did 240 episodes. But, you know, beyond that number, beyond say the tech and what are you most proud of? Like, look back and say, wow, this has been great. Emmanuel, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good question, Howard. I appreciate that chance to think about that. You know what I really love? I love my intro and outros, and so that's one of the things I'm proud of, is that it really, for me and for the guest. Well, I'll tell you the long answer is I had a show 2 days ago where I totally spaced out setting up my workspace inside of Restream. And so I didn't have any of my videos in there. And I just had to go into the episode, which felt very cold. And that's because I've been so trained with that intro, like gets me really focused. It's like the Pavlovian bell. And so I realized how important the intro and outro were for me for creating the mood in the space. And so I'm just proud of that. And then the systems that I built out to be able to manage me and my team and the technology to be able to do that volume of content.
Okay. Nice.
Cool.
Rick.
Well, I just looked back at I didn't get as many episodes out this year, but in light of the move and all the other things, I did continue, I didn't miss a week. So I got 52. So I'm pretty proud of that. And
Yeah.
I'm also, you know, flattered and proud and kind of somewhat surprised at all the great feedback I get on the show.
Hmm.
I mean, it's been going for quite a while now. Um, and it just every time we go to the Outdoor Writers Association, there's that, I've been to the various outdoor trade shows and sometimes I'll get an email or a text from somebody that heard an episode, dude, that episode with Howard was fantastic. Da, 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 so that's really, you know, it really motivates you, I think, when you get that, because people are listening to it and they're enjoying it and they're getting
Hmm.
something out of it, which is, my goal. I want everybody to be able to get into the outdoor space and adventure space and have as much fun as they can, because I grew up doing that. My grandfather was an avid hunter and outdoorsman, and that's how I learned to go outside. So my motto is, get outside as much as you can. So
I love it. I love it. I do feel for myself somewhat guilty. I mean, I grew up in the middle of a city, in the Midwest cities or suburbs, and I kind of fell into the outdoor space when I moved from Chicago to Las Vegas. But you guys are truly the outdoors, persona. I'm like, I feel sometimes imposter syndrome. I'm doing these episodes, and I mean, being a coach is helpful. I'm used to asking questions. I'm very curious, and I can help guide a conversation. But I want to be out there kayaking. I want to be out there, camping and trying out equipment and just, going off grid like you do, Emmanuel. I want to do more of that. And I have to find, my goal is to find more ways to get out from behind the mic in an office to be behind the mic out in nature. And I think, the three of us were talking
great.
about getting together and, you know, man, no, you've got the Starlink, so we've got the ability now
Absolutely.
to, let's do some podcasting episodes, but let's be out in the middle of the woods somewhere that's, at least 50, 100 miles from the nearest piece of civilization, I
That would
think.
be fun. Yeah, that'd be really fun.
I like
All
it. We
right.
gotta hit. We gotta hit the Reno Tahoe Visitors Bureau, Howard. You set that up. We'll set up a camp. We'll invite them out to Gragel
Yeah,
and to our camp, and they can have a we can have a live
tell
podcast
their
there.
stories. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that is a great idea. I'm working on a project actually right in the middle of it with the Reno Tahoe territory.
Yeah.
And I did the Carson Valley. That's going to be the first episode for the new year,
Oh,
and I've
cool.
got Carson City and the two other in the that are part of this Reno Tahoe territory. But I think what you just offered there, Emmanuel, is the thing to do. Let's just go out there, spend X amount of days, and we invite folks from the territory, come
Yeah.
visit us, and let's have some episodes. I love
Yeah,
that.
it'd be awesome. I think it's called the Lost Sierra Chamber. I think is that what it's called?
We can call it Pod Camp.
Pod camp. There you
Yes.
go. Very good. Very
Come out to
good.
pod camp.
Yeah.
Better be careful. It could be an annual affair or a quarterly
uh,
affair if it's
yeah,
wildly successful. That'd be
I,
great.
I I like that idea. I think we could definitely
I love
pitch
it.
that.
Love it.
and then what we could do is invite some of the local businesses that are chamber members to come out and come to
Yeah,
pod
Yeah.
camp too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could
So
get a list of all the outdoor, the folks with in the outdoor space, the various experience operators, and just get them out there. I love that idea. I
yeah.
love that. So I got one last question for you guys. The deep question is, well, two actually. One, our podcasting, is the market oversaturated? Is there still a need for more podcasters, for more podcast shows? And I'll tell you what, and before you answer that, the second part of the question is, what advice would you have for some novice who perhaps listens to this episode Howard, Rick, Emmanuel, great guys. I want to be just like them, and they should be because we're great guys. What advice would you have for someone that wants to get started with a podcast? Rick, why don't you kick that off?
I would say just do it. I mean, I think that's one of the things when I started my show, I wasn't hesitant because I'm kind of a tech guy, being a photographer and all that stuff. I had a lot of the equipment already. But for some reason, the audio piece kind of held me back. And then once I got going, it's like, oh, wow, this is pretty darn easy. So don't let any of the equipment thoughts that you have or confidence that you have or don't have, just do it because we all as humans are used to talking to people, and that's the beauty of a podcast. You're just doing it behind a mic and recording it.
Mhm.
It's the only difference. And sometimes you can do it with multiple people as we do it here. A lot of times I don't really do video, so I don't see my guest. We just get on a Zoom call and I record it.
Mhm.
But yeah, just do it. The equipment's not that expensive. You can actually probably start your podcast with just your phone if you really
Mhm.
had to. But we all, I think each of us has, podcast training assets and programs and things. Reach out to us. Happy to help you get started. But yeah, don't wait. Just do it because not only are there unlimited amount of topics and content in the world that you can talk about, everybody brings their own perspective and their own thoughts and things to that topic, like the outdoors. Everybody thinks the outdoors is saturated. I don't think
Mhm.
so. I think there's people that do all kinds of different things in different ways, and I learn something new from somebody every day, and I've been doing this my whole life,
Mhm.
outdoor stuff. So, yeah, don't hesitate. Get going.
I love it. Emmanuel, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say similar to Rick. I think if you're going to do it for your business, start today. Cancel everything and record whatever you're an SME on, 10 minute episodes and get that part started. The beauty of the podcast is you can talk to anybody who's in your industry in your network. I mean, I've talked to guys who are VPs at Intel. Guys I would never be able to talk to otherwise. Visa, giant corporations. So if as a business person, as somebody building a brand as an executive, it gives you unlimited access to people in your industry, and you can talk to referral sources, potential customers, and your customers. So there's that's not saturated, right? Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
lot of podcasts out there, and I'm not ever going to be Joe Rogan anywhere new guys are, right? He's the unicorn, so we don't have to try to do that. We just have to try to influence people that are in our networks, and yeah, the technology is with $100 worth of technology and some free accounts online, you can get your 10 episodes up and running and start scheduling guests.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and I like what you
I
just
was gonna
shared
add,
too about this platform gives us the opportunity to go in and have conversations that we might not necessarily be able to do because we're just inviting people to share their story, whatever it is. And whether it's the CEO of a small, medium, large company, they are the ambassadors for their organizations, and you're giving them a very well established platform to be able to share their story and their vision of the future and what they want. I love that. Rick, you were going to say something.
yeah, I would add one other thing. I know a lot of people are into video these days, and they're recording videos and all this stuff, but the other beauty of a podcast is it can be listened to 24/7, 365, anywhere. You could be in the middle of nowhere, like a lot of us are sometimes. You got your phone or you got your player, whatever it is, and you can be listening to a podcast. You can't always watch a video while you're driving or where you're traveling to, where you don't have, service or whatever it is. So it's the ultimate equalizer, I think.
Sure. I love it. Guys, before we head out, I also want to be respectful. I know there's probably breakfast is cooking and coffee is brewing and it's raining here, but I am going to go sit outside and enjoy a cup
Dumping.
of
Yeah, I
coffee
hope you
while
guys
it
didn't hear it.
rains.
Yeah.
That's one thing about where I live. The roommate has this great canopy, and you can sit outside. It's perfect. But before we head out, uh, Am I going to see you two at the in Madison this year at the Outdoor Writers Association of America annual
Yep. Okay.
conference?
Yep.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If
Well,
I
all
won an
right.
Yeah, the plan is
award,
to be there
if I won
now.
an award, I will come out to Madison.
All right. All right. All right. All right. And Rick, I know you'll right now you're planning on being there and
We got to cook
because
up
it
some more
be
presentations to sell on Ches on.
there you go. I love that idea. And it's I'm looking forward to getting out there as well. Since I lived in Chicago many years. I have been to Madison. I can actually say I've been to Madison, but uh, I never knew it was like out on this isthmus with water on all like
Oh,
three lakes surround
beautiful town.
Madison. It's like I never knew that. It's like,
Great kayaking on those lakes.
yeah. So I figure there's probably some kayaking. There's probably
Yeah,
some good fishing for you, man. Also, maybe we'll do some fly fishing. It'll be in August, so we'll
Yeah,
go find a river.
there's probably be some grasshoppers at least.
We'll get you
absolutely.
out there. We'll get you out there. Well, guys, before we head out, Emmanuel, where are the best places for our listeners to go if they'd like to learn more about you and your work and all three of the podcast platforms that you're running?
They can search on Google or any of the LLMs for Emanuel Rose Marketing, and they'll find me that way or at emmanuelrose.com.
Okay, very good. Rick,
Yeah, you can go to my website, ricksays.com, and you can just search Google for my podcast, the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast. It's all over the
sounds
place.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And for listeners, you can find me at foxcoaching.com. We also have the Outdoor Adventure Series .com podcast website and the Success Insight podcast.com website. We're going to provide all those backlinks
And I got
in
some
our
catching
show
up to do.
show
I only have
notes.
one measly little show here. I better get after it. You
Rick,
guys
get well. You've got multiple shows. You've got your Rick's Riffs. That counts.
okay? I'll
I
take
just think, you and I have to catch up to Emmanuel, do
exactly.
241 episodes at least.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
we'll
mean, he's
see.
crushing it. I don't know how he does it. It's probably, I think he's got a twin brother or maybe
It's all the,
couple
he's a wizard
twins.
at that AI stuff. He's got 67 AI bots that are doing it for him.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how much time it takes to produce a podcast. And whatever we can do that's not our sweet spot that we can hand off to someone or some piece of technology, I think that's wonderful.
I
And
agree.
that definitely makes those 240 episodes. That's still a lot, but knowing that good solid tech is working behind the scenes to help support us, I
Yeah.
think is very positive as well.
Yeah, we
Like
boiled
I said,
down 8 hours per episode down to an hour between human and software. So
that's great.
that's
Yeah.
how we did
I
it.
love that. Well, guys, I want to wish you both a great continuation of your holiday season, where whatever you celebrate, and really a very prosperous, successful, healthy new year in 2026. And I'm looking forward to continuing our weekly conversations and hopefully finding ways to see you guys to get us three. We'll get others to join us, but to see
We need
you
to get
three in
outside
person, not just virtually,
and
in
outside.
2026. I'm
I'm
really looking
excited.
forward to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks,
Me too.
guys. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Uh,
it. Thanks,
Good
Howard, for
job, Howard.
organizing all this.
all
Yeah.
right, take care
Good luck,
now.
guys.
Okay.
All right, folks, before we head out, just remember we're going to provide all the links in our show notes for Manuel Rose and Rick Says. This is Howard Fox, host of the Outdoor Adventure Series and Success Inside podcast. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there and have a fantastic day. Have a very healthy and great holiday season. Be good to your neighbor. And just do good things. Okay, and we look forward to seeing you in 2026. Take care now.